Welcome, everyone. We return again together to create a beloved community, acting together with compassion, reason, and respect, empowering us to promote a just society. My name is Chris Palmer, and I answer to pronouns she, her, and I'm the worship host today. I am co-creating this moment with Reverend Nic and Josef Patchen, our tech deck, and all of you here. Today, we recreate the flower ceremony, a special UU rite that first appeared 100 years ago today. In person and virtual visitors are more than welcome. If you're joining us via Zoom this morning, I'd like to invite folks to stay on the call for at least a few minutes following the service so you can say hi to each other and have a little conversation and some fellowship time. If visiting in person, please fill out a blue card that you'll find in a seat pocket near you, and it will give us an opportunity to keep you up to what's going on in the church and keep in touch with you. After the service, stop by the common room for refreshments and conversation. We'll know you by your orange name tag. Whether you're here for the first time or the 1000th in person or on Zoom, I sincerely hope the deepest part of your soul gets what it needs today. And here's what's coming up in our shared lives together. Our annual congregational meeting is next Sunday following the service. The board will once again provide food to fill our bellies and to do the important business of this congregation. If you'd like to join via Zoom, a registration link went out with the official announcement from Laura last Sunday. If you haven't heard, we have 4 brand new UU youth camps coming up this summer. Our very first one starts tomorrow, but there's still time to sign up. You can learn more at uuaugusta.org/Faith Formation Ministries or chat with Desria Saya, our Faith Formation Manager. Don't forget about the ecstatic dance coming up this Wednesday. It's a great way to practice spirituality and get your spiritual needs met, and it's lots of fun. There are a couple of community justice events coming up. I hope many of you will consider attending the Augusta Juneteenth parade with us on June 17th, and more information on that one is to come up. We are also hoping you'll march with us with the annual Augusta Pride Parade at 10 a.m. on Saturday, June 24th, and check in with Susan Rachel. If you want to come up and say a few words about that, please.
That's Caitlin. This year we're doing a parade and a booth. Oh, sorry. This year we're doing a parade and a booth. And Caitlin is going to be in charge of our booth, coordinating the schedules and stuff like that. I'm going to be in charge of the parade, coordinating everything. We have 2 sign-up sheets for the parade and the booth, and I'll put them on the table leading into the common room. I also brought the map with me today if you want to see where our booth is going to be. We have lots of throws. I'll put these out for you to see too, the cards we're going to give out this year that Reverend Nic ordered, and they're super pretty. Our goal is just to kind of represent and let people know we're here, and we want to help if they need us, and that's it. So, do you have anything? Okay. If y'all have any questions, Caitlin and I'll be here a little bit, and you can come and ask. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you. On Sunday, June 25th, we will host a virtual viewing party of Sunday morning worship from the UU General Assembly instead of holding worship ourselves. Please join us here in the sanctuary beginning at 11 a.m. And finally, keep August 19th on your calendar for Reverend Nic's installation at UUCA. This will be a wonderful event, and there'll be lots of special guests from around the country, so please come and join us. Now, let us enter into the service of sharing this wonderful flower ceremony.
Please rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn, number 78, Color and Fragrance, words and music by Norbert Chopik.
Now, as we hold all those joys and sorrows, named and unnamed, we enter into a time of prayer and meditation, time for us to recenter ourselves, recenter our breath, connect with our bodies, connect with the chairs upon which we sit, perhaps even place your feet upon the floor. However is most comfortable for you, and if that's with your eyes closed, with your hands clasped, whatever works for you that helps you connect most deeply with your own spirit and the spirit around you. As I read these words entitled Spring Prayer by Jess Reynolds from a book of UU poetry entitled Love Like Thunder. Spirit of life, we come seeking stillness. The world is bursting with green, with frenetic energy and a desperate need to fill the empty spaces with life. we are bursting too. Our hands frantic to fill the blank slots on our calendars, the empty spaces in our gardens. We all have leafless branches and flat, dark soil. There's no guarantee that we will sprout this year as we have before. Spirit of life, we seek your blessing. May your hands join ours as we tend our gardens, coaxing life from our sleeping seeds. May you sit with us in the quiet, settling our hearts into a space for waiting, taking in the sun and rain so that we too might bloom. Blessed may each of us be.
We come together at this time to share the flowers as they grow and bloom this time of the year. And as we sit here in this church, we want our church to grow and to flourish. And so in the spirit of friendship and love, let us share on our finances to keep this church going and growing so that we can continue to do the work to provide the sanity that this church offers us and such a world that's full of turmoil, and that we can support our mission. I ask the ushers to come up.
In a moment, we will share with you a brand new cantata that shares the life and works of Norbert Chopik and highlights the origins and meaning of the flower ceremony, both as Chopik initially intended and how it's currently practiced. A cantata is a medium-length narrative piece of music, which typically includes voices and instrumental accompaniment, solos, and chorus. The blooming of the flower ceremony is the narrative today.
There will be 2 hymns in here that everyone will sing. The lyrics for those hymns will be on the slides. And if you read music and would be more comfortable having the music in front of you, my lovely spouse made copies of all of that this morning. There's some up here on the piano. You can come grab some. I can bring them to you if you'd like. But just want to let you know that there are multiple tools for you to feel most comfortable as we go through this cantata.
This work was co-created by Reverend Suzelle Lynch, Catherine Kanan, Reuben Peranian, Anne Merdinja, in conversation with the posthumous words of Norbert Chopik himself. There will be spoken word throughout which will give context to each new piece of music shared with you today. Many congregations around the country will be using this material today. May we begin the Beauty Calls Us Together cantina with the flower prelude.
Imagine the courageous people of a war-weary nation, finally free to reclaim and renew their spirituality and culture after the war to end all wars. Imagine their hunger for soul-filling music and a message of unity that reaches across all lines of difference. Imagine their longing for a community where their gifts and needs would be embraced. 100 years ago, the Congregation of Liberal Religious Fellowship in Prague, Czechoslovakia, was the community of their dreams. The Prague Congregation of Liberal Religious Fellowship was founded by the Reverend Dr. Norbert Chopik and his wife, Maya. Dr. Chopik, a brilliant writer and preacher, an avid singer and eager student, was born into his mother's Catholic faith in Bohemia, and grew up in a home flavored by his father's history with the Moravian Brethren. Norbert Chopik grew up thirsting for a faith free from hypocrisy, a faith that would respect his mind and help him give voice to his convictions. As an adult, Chopik served Moravian and Baptist religious organizations, growing more religiously liberal with each passing year. He left Bohemia under government threat and accepted a call to serve a Baptist church in New York City, until one day in 1919. That day, he wrote in his diary, "I cannot be a Baptist anymore, even in compromise. The fire of new desires, new worlds is burning inside me." In 1921, inspired and empowered by connections he made with the American Unitarians, Dr. Chopik and Maya returned with their children to their native land to build the new religious movement they dreamed of. That religious movement caught fire in a nation alive with freedom and longing for change. The Prague congregation's liberating message and vibrant music drew thousands to worship, yet something was missing. A new ritual was needed to unite the diverse and eager crowds. Chopik crafted a ceremony he described as, quote, "a new experiment in symbolizing our liberty and brotherhood," end quote. He asked each congregation member to bring a flower to church from their garden, field, or roadside. Gathered in one vase, their combined beauty was dazzling. Yet each blossom retained its uniqueness. And then, as Chopik wrote, quote, "when they go home, each person is to take one flower just as it comes, without making any distinction where it came from and whom it represents, to confess that we accept each other without regard to class, race, or other distinction, acknowledging everybody is our friend." This compelling ritual of individual free will, the beauty of diversity, and the power of unity was held for the first time on the anniversary of the Prague Fellowship's founding on June 24th, 1923. It became known as the Flower Ceremony, or Flower Communion, and the Prague Fellowship celebrated it annually as they continued to grow and thrive. But all was not peaceful in Czechoslovakia. World War II brought great troubles. And in 1939, Maya Chopik came to the United States to raise funds to help war refugees. She brought the flower ceremony, or the flower communion, with her to the Unitarian Church in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And soon the tradition spread to congregations around this country. Norbert Chopik stayed behind in Czechoslovakia to help his people. He nurtured their spirits with his message of their inherent worth. The Nazis found his message dangerous and arrested him for treason in 1941. He was sent to Dresden prison and then to the concentration camp at Dachau. Chopik kept his spirit strong by sharing his poetry, music, and the flower ceremony with other inmates, but the Nazis put him to death a year later. This year, today, we honor the 100th anniversary of the first flower ceremony, with music composed to celebrate the blessings of diversity, the beauty of freedom and dignity, and the power and strength of the religious movement founded by Norbert and Maya Chopik, a movement that continues to thrive today.
A great many Unitarian Universalist congregations celebrate the flower ceremony each spring. We love the way it brings Earth's colorful beauty into our midst, and it reminds us of the power of working together despite all the forces that conspire to divide us. We love to observe each other's faces as we choose a flower, especially the faces of the children. We remember that just as each flower is unique, so is each person's life unique and worthy. Together, the flowers form a bouquet that would not be as beautiful if even one flower left out. We know that's how it is with our community, too. Each and every one of us is part of our community's beauty and purpose. Each and every one of us is valued and respected. In addition, the flower ceremony reminds us that we can and we must work to shift our world toward greater peace, equity, sustainability, and justice. That we can and we must help liberate others. You Bring an Aster is a hymn that brings life to the messages and the meaning of the flower ceremony. With a simple upbeat melody, everyone will sing this new UU hymn together, and the lyrics will be on the screen for you to follow.
Unitarian Universalism is a living faith tradition meant to grow and change with the wisdom and knowledge of the times and with the life experiences of our congregation's members. We come to this faith from many places, some of us without formal religious training, some after years spent with other religious paths and practices. Norbert Chopik brought a rich life of religious scholarship and service to the Unitarianism of his time.
Music was a joy and a lifeline for Norbert Chopik. The texts of 7 hymns he wrote while incarcerated in Dresden prison are preserved in the book Norbert Fabian Chopik, A Spiritual Journey, written by Richard Henry. Henry notes that in Chopik's hymns, we sense his premonition of his fate, yet they are full of hope and beauty. In the depths of my soul adopts one of Chopik's hymns and sets it to a meditative, chant-like melody. The words remind us that in difficult times, solace is waiting deep within us.
Source of strength, where divine and human meet, there quiet your mind, quiet. Outside let lightning rain, horrible darkness frighten the world, but from the depths of your own soul, from that silence will rise again. The words and melody of hymn number 8, Mother Spirit, Father Spirit, in the UU hymnal, Singing with the Living Tradition, were written by Norbert Chopik, translated into English, and adapted into the familiar song with its questions and images of earth's beauty. Chopik's hymns tell us that he felt the spirit of life and love with him always. And in this new song, a voice of the Spirit answers each question. Journeying with Chopik and with all of us, because the spirit of life and love is expansive and not limited by gender, the language has been updated. We invite you to listen for this diverse, divine voices that sing, "You are my beloved."
Beside you. Gentle Spirit, loving Spirit, take our hearts. Take our breath and let our voices sing our part. Take our hands and let us learn to shape our heart.
Timeless Spirit, gracious Spirit, are you here?
I am right beside you.
Gather us in gentle arms and hold us near.
I am your strength and your love.
Help us shape the world of hope we hold so dear.
You are my beloved. You are my beloved.
To be one is to be in covenant with one another, supporting each other in our free and ever-changing community of faith and action. We are one references our history, affirms our present, and invites us all, siblings and strangers, cousins and neighbors, into a bold future that centers love.
Everyone's invited to sing this with us. The lyrics will be on the screen.
And a new faith is dawning, we are here. Many hearts filled with hope, we are here. Joining freely together, siblings and strangers, cousins and neighbors, creating
We are one, we are free, and we are here. Much has changed in the 100 years since the first flower ceremony, but our commitment to the values it embodies grows ever stronger as we continue to shape a faith that fiercely and gently calls forth beauty and kinship in easy times and times of heart-rending challenge. As we Unitarian Universalists work to dismantle our culture of oppression and exclusion, learn to truly embrace a multiplicity of cultural worldviews, and shift our historical center to follow powerful new leadership by those whose voices have been suppressed for too long, we make real the bold vision of Norbert and Maya Chopik and the flower ceremony. Their spirit, courage, and commitment live on in us. May we ever remember our continuity with those who struggled generation after generation for peace and justice and liberty. As we share our flowers, may we always remember the abiding beauty that calls us together and calls us to ever greater justice and ever greater love. As we begin the flower ceremony itself, please take a moment to listen to Reverend Dr. Peter Samoyski, minister of the Prague Unitarian Congregation in the Czech Republic, where Norbert Chopik once served. Reverend Samoyski will be reading Reverend Chopik's original flower communion blessing first in its native Czech, and then in his own English translation.
These are the words I offered as a meditation over the flowers before their distribution. Ve jménu toho, co je svaté, ve jménu toho, co je dobré, ve jménu toho, co dává život, sešli jsme se tady dnes, v tomto místě. Byl nám dán život, abychom žili v povědomí věčnosti. Neboť to je zdroj štěstí. Abychom pracovali na sobě a vnášeli do svého života štěstí. Abychom byli co platní druhým, se kterými jsme provázáni neviditelnými vztahy. Vy květiny, připomínáte nám tu úžasnou jednoduchost přírodního řádu a to, že i my jsme jeho součástí. Připomínáte nám krásu a harmonii rozmanitosti. Připomínáte nám, že lze cítit a vnímat a žít jednotu v různosti a různost v jednotě. Nechť jeden duch tvůrčího života nás spojí, tak, jako mezi námi vládne. In the name of what is holy, in the name of what is good, in the name of that which gives life, we have gathered here in this place today. We have been given life to live under the aspect of eternity, for that is the source of happiness. To work on ourselves and bring happiness into our lives, to be as valid as possible to others with whom we are connected by invisible relationships. You, the flowers, remind us of the wonderful simplicity of the natural order, and that we too are a part of it. You remind us of the beauty and harmony of diversity. You remind us that one can feel and perceive and live unity in diversity and diversity in unity. Let the spirit of creative life unite us as it reigns among us.
It is time now for us to share in the flower communion. After the choir comes up first, we'll have 2 lines coming down the center from each side, starting from the front row. And then once you grab a flower from the altar, you'll come back around and re-enter your row from the outside, one row at a time, and just follow along as you see the next row headed out. The folks seated in the center section will go last, just as one group. I ask that as you each approach the communion altar, you do so quietly, reverently, with a sense of how important it is for each of us to address and bless our world and one another with gentleness, justice, with love. I ask that you select a flower different from the one that you brought, that particularly appeals to you, which calls to your spirit. And as you take your chosen flower, noting its particular shape and beauty, please remember to handle it carefully. It's a gift that someone else has brought to you. It represents that person's unique humanity and therefore deserves your kindest touch. Let us now celebrate the blessing of this Unitarian Universalist ritual of oneness and love. Listen now to Dr. Chopik's Flower Communion Prayer, once again read by Reverend Peter Samoyski.
Let me share with you the meditation which Norbert Fabian Čapek offered for Flower Communion. Ve jménu prozřetelnosti, která do jádra ukládá budoucnost mohutného stromu a do srdcí vkládá budoucnost zbratřeného lidstva, ve jménu toho nejvyššího, co námi hýbe, co činí matku matkou, bratra bratrem a sestru sestrou, ve jménu mistrů a vůdců božských, kteří vlastních životů nasazovali, jen aby uspíšili příchod říše lidskosti, pro dobro vlastní a prospěch svého národa obnovme své předsevzetí, že si chceme být upřímnými bratry a sestrami bez ohledu na jakékoliv přehrady, které odcizují člověka člověku. V tomto svatém předsevzetí síliš nás vědomí, že jsme jedna boží rodina, že jeden duch, duch lásky nás spojuje a jedna snaha po dokonalejším a radostnějším životě nás vede. In the name of providence, which implants in the seed the future of the flower, and in our hearts the longing for people to live in harmony. In the name of the highest, in whom we move, and who makes the mother and father, the brother and sister, lover and loner for what they are. In the name of sages and great religious leaders who sacrificed their lives to hasten the coming of the age of mutual respect, let us renew our resolution, sincerely to be real brothers and sisters, regardless of any kind of bar which estranges us from each other. In this holy resolve may we be strengthened, knowing that we are God's family. That one spirit, the spirit of love, unites us, and endeavor for more a perfect and more joyful life. Amen.
Please rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn, number 77, Seek Not Afar for Beauty.
Standing, if you are, as I read these closing words from Reverend Dr. Susan Frederick Gray, who only has about 3 weeks remaining as president of the Unitarian Universalist Association. She says, "May we remain always mindful of how radical and powerful love is, how dangerous those who use fear to build power know love to be, how necessary and essential the spirit and struggle for universal love, for human dignity, for reverence, for life, all life, every life, all creation remains always. As we go forth today, remember, we are among the ever-blooming keepers of this flame."